Okay, this is a review on how to simplify radicals without using your calculator. If it's not a perfect square and I put something in my calculator, I'm going to get a decimal, and that means at some point I have to round, which means my answer is not as exact as I would like it. So if I put the square root of 72 in, I get this decimal. The calculator at some point has probably cut it off and rounded, and I'm going to have to round it. So we want to be able to simplify this without rounding. So the is to make a factor tree. So a factor tree means I'm looking for multiples of 72. And I think the easiest way is to make a prime factor tree. So prime numbers are numbers that are only divisible by 1 in themselves. So like 2 and 3 and 5, 7. So I always start my factor trees with 2. If it's even, I know I can divide by 2. And then I do 72 divided by 2, and that's 36. And I'm done with the 72, so I'm going to cross it off. And I continue going with 2's. As long as the number's even, I'm going to keep dividing by 2. So I have 36 divided by 2. That gives me 18. Cross off the 36. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9. And once I can't divide by 2, I just keep going up. So my next number I'm going to try is 3. And 9 is 3 times 3. And if I've done my factor tree correctly, all of these numbers that I haven't crossed off should multiply up to be 72. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, that's 72. So now I'm going to look for groups of 2. So I have a group of 2 3s and a group of 2 2s. So how this works is, say it's Friday night, you get to go out if you have a date. So the 3s have a date, the 2s have a date. This 2 does not have a date, he has to stay home. And when you have a date, you only take one car. So when they come out, they're only going to come out as singles and not as doubles. So this 3 comes out as a single, the 2 comes out as a single because they're only taking one car, and this poor 2 does not have a date, so he's staying home. And then the very end, I multiply what I have on the outside together, and then if I have things to multiply on the inside, I would multiply them, but I never multiply outside with inside. And I could actually check it on my calculator by doing the square root of 72, and I get that messy decimal again, and I could put 6 times the square root of 2, and I should get the same messy decimal. So that's a good way to check it. All right, so let's try one more. So again, 48 is an even number. I know I can divide it by 2. 2 times 24. 24, I divide by 2, I get 12. 12, I divide by 2, I get 6, and then I get 2 times 3. So again, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 equals 48. That's my factor tree. So I'm looking for groups of 2, pairs of 2. So these 2 have a date, they get to come out, they take their one car. These 2 have a date, they get to come out, they take their one car. This poor 3 has to stay home, he doesn't have a date. And then these 2 get multiplied, which gives me 4, and I don't have anything to multiply on the inside. And again, I don't multiply outside with inside. And I can check this one on my calculator. The square root of 48 gives me that messy decimal, and 4 times the square root of 3 gives me the same messy decimal, so that I know I did it correctly.